Imagine spending 18 years convinced that the person raising you actively dislikes you. For one boy, every morning meal and every car ride served as a reminder that he was an unwelcome burden in his own home. The routine never varied. Before school, there were no words of encouragement, only a sharp list of chores and corrections. It was a cold, efficient start to every day that left no room for the warmth most children take for granted. He watched his peers arrive in new clothes, checking their latest phones, while his own requests were met with a flat, stony no. To him, his mother wasn't just being thrifty. She was choosing to deny him the things that made his friends happy. When a child is met with constant denial, they don't see a household budget or a long-term plan. They see a lack of care. Slowly, the material gap between him and his friends transformed into an emotional gap between him and his mother. By the time he reached his teens, the shouting had stopped, replaced by a heavy, permanent silence. They shared a roof and a table, but lived in two entirely different worlds. He eventually stopped looking for her approval. The natural instinct to love his mother curdled into a quiet, focused hatred. He began to see her not as a parent, but as an obstacle to the life he wanted. That resentment became his primary source of energy. He treated his textbooks like exit visas, studying late into the night, with the singular goal of scoring high enough to earn a scholarship and leave her behind forever. His drive for success had nothing to do with family pride. He was working for the day he could achieve total financial independence, walk out the front door, and never look back. The plan worked. Years later, he was a professional with a high-paying job and a life of his own. He had finally achieved the distance he'd spent a decade dreaming about. But independence often brings a clearer view of the past. While settling old family affairs, he finally saw the financial records of his childhood, the real numbers behind the life he had hated so much. The records revealed a hidden life of grueling labor. While he was at school, his mother was in the homes of the wealthy, scrubbing floors and cleaning toilets to bring home every spare cent. The greed he had resented was actually a desperate struggle for survival. Every luxury she had denied him was another week's worth of groceries or another month of his tuition. She had willingly taken on the physical toll and the daily humiliation of domestic service, specifically to ensure her son would never have to do the same. But the deepest secret was buried in the medical receipts. There was a specific set of bills that had gone unpaid for years, treatments for a chronic condition that she had simply ignored. This chart maps those years. The top line shows his academic progress rising, while the bottom line shows her health failing. The math was brutal. Every dollar meant for life-saving treatment was diverted into his education. She spent years living under the same roof as him, hiding the pain of a terminal illness so effectively that he never even suspected she was sick. Her silence ensured that while she faced the end of her life alone in her room, he was in the library, focused entirely on the exams that would secure his future. She chose to remain the villain in his story, so that he would never have to stop being the hero in his. The weight of the truth hit him all at once. The decades of resentment vanished, replaced by a crushing sense of guilt and a desperate, clawing need to make it right. He didn't call. He just ran. He drove back to his childhood home, fueled by a single urgent thought. He had to find her, hold her, and finally tell her that he understood. But when he burst through the door, the house was silent. There was no one there to scold him, and no one there to hear his apology. He was too late. The illness she had hidden for so many years had finally won. She had passed away alone, days before he reached the door. He stood in the empty house, realizing that the very success she had died to give him had kept him away until it was too late to return the love she had never spoken. We often only see the depth of a sacrifice when we are standing in the void it left behind. It is a tragic irony that the people who love us most often do so with a silence that we mistake for coldness. The harshest exteriors are often just heavy armor, worn by those who are destroying themselves to make sure we never have to feel the weight of the world they are carrying for us.